when I started jiu-jitsu, I started for self-defense, which is, I think, what a lot of women start doing jiu-jitsu for. And there were a lot of people around me that were preparing for a competition, and I was honestly kind of annoyed. I'm like, I just want to learn self-defense. Like, why are we talking about De La Hiva? But I don't know, about 3 months into my training, I began to get curious because, it was all people were talking about, even though my gym doesn't have a ton of competitors. And so I asked my coach, do you think I could compete? And he was like, sure, why not? So 6 months into training, I did my first tournament. I thought I was going to be amazing, and I lost in just over a minute. But it got me interested in competing, and I started just competing regularly after that. And as a white belt, I did 5 tournaments. I was about to do my 6th, got my blue belt like a week before. So I went and did my first blue belt tournament a week in, lost again. But I've done a total of 25 tournaments. Wow. You get excited when you start seeing the progress that you make, whether it's through rankings or, season champ awards or just, getting silver at Master Worlds. You start to see like, hey, I'm improving. My first year at Master Worlds, I didn't make it out of the first round. And then to come back the next year and get silver was so exciting for me. But competition has given me just a huge community of like-minded women. Women tend to make friends with their competitors. We get out on the mat and try and kill each other, and then afterwards we're all hugging and connecting on social media, and it's just a little different, I guess, maybe from men. But I feel like it has helped me improve faster, for sure.
Yeah, I saw that you won season champion for JJ World League. I'm a little jealous because I'm the Craig Jones of JJ World League. I can't get past second place. So, go you. Congratulations. And Jody, I just want to jump into you. So tell me how you got started with jiu-jitsu and a little bit about your competitive journey.
Yeah, so I actually started jiu-jitsu after watching my kids train. I watched them for 2 years, and then I was like, I think this is something that I could do. And I started in 2019, so not very long before everything kind of shut down. Just enough to get hooked on it and then have everything taken away is what it felt like.
Yeah.
But, my coach, he allowed us to train in small groups in his garage, and then he ended up opening up his own school. And so I just started training there, and the rest is history with Mythic. I started competing pretty early on and loved it. I used to compete both gi and no gi, but now I only compete with no gi.
Why is that?
I just like it better.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the pace of it and not having someone just grip you up and hang on for dear life.
Yes. I'm kind of the opposite, but I have bad knees, so I need to be able to control the pace so it can't move so fast so I can protect my knees,
Yeah.
So I'm a little jealous. I'm jealous of you now. Belle, we're going to move on over to you. How are you doing?
I'm
What's
good.
crack-a-lacking? Tell me about your journey.
So I started in about 2004 when I was in Iraq. They had something called combatives.
Oh, you're a veteran.
And it was just I'm an Air Force veteran.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. I'm a veteran as well, so thank you.
Nice.
For your
What
service.
branch?
Of the Army. Combat engineer.
Air Force.
Oh, my brother's in Air
maintenance.
Force. He's actually in Italy right now.
Nice. I love Italy. I would love to have been stationed there.
Well,
so I did combatives while I was deployed, and I came back. I wanted to find a school. I found a school, and we went to a competition to support some other competitors, and I just signed up the first day and got handled. One competitor was a black belt, and then in some other form art, and another one was like a parole officer or some type of probation officer. So she was good at throwing people and handling them. So
yeah,
I was not ready for that. But then,
That's
so I took a hiatus, had some children, moved around the world, came back to California. And after I gave birth to my third son, a year later, I started back into jiu-jitsu.
okay. Man, like that's a sticky situation to be in your first time to like be thrown into it with those kind of people. I remember like my first time, like I was thrown in with like a wrestler guy, and yeah, it wasn't. I just got kind of just out wrestled and outclassed. So I
Yeah,
kind
they
of know
have
what that's
so
like.
much. I think
Yeah.
after that, they also put in that, like, if you are a black belt in another art form, you can't be a white belt competing.
Oh, is that? I didn't know that's a thing. Uh, okay. Hmm. Well,
Not
last but not
not after
least.
that situation, but just like
Oh, just
after
just
that.
in general, they made that rule. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, let's move on to Miss Marita. Last but not least, just because I know you very well, the audience doesn't. Go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of tell us a little bit about your journey.
So it was my therapist that recommended I start jujitsu. So
Okay.
I have PTSD and it's really bad. Like I spent almost a year being mute, so I didn't speak to people. I didn't get out of
Mm,
my bed. I was agoraphobic too, but I was in graduate school at the same time. So she says that martial arts would help me sort of break through that mental um, obstacle that I was going through. And so I started with Muay Thai. Couldn't do it. I would cry. I would constantly cry because martial arts is dominated by men, and my issue
yeah.
was with men. So I had a hard time. I left Muay Thai. I started judo. Judo was my judo dojo is very traditional. Like it's been there
Hmm.
for over 100 years. So
Okay. Wow.
also very male centered. So I had trouble with judo. I would say judo is the hardest thing I've ever tried, but I've never tried wrestling, and they say wrestling is hard, so I don't know. So then I tried jujitsu because my husband,
Tricked you.
yeah. Uh, So he's all like, let's go on a date. So we went on a date, and it was to his jujitsu gym for a jujitsu class. But
Yeah.
luckily, that gym was small enough that I didn't feel as in danger. And my brother was
Mm,
there. So it was my brother, my friend, and my husband were there. And I think it was a total of 5 students. So it was
mm,
super small. So I
yeah.
think that sort of like got me through it, and they knew my situation and they were very supportive. So we went from there. And now I'm at Forge and they're super supportive. It always feels like family there.
Yeah.
They all feel like my little brothers. So it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, for the guest, this is Coach Anthony Rico. This is his wife, just so everyone knows. So my question is, I should ask you ladies, and my question to you ladies is just like, how can I get my lady to start jujitsu?
Well, I'm always trying to recruit women into jujitsu. I think the more
Hmm.
women, the better. It's so good for us, whether it's learning self defense, whether it's just growing in confidence, exercise, whatever. Things that can help women join is joining with a friend or having an
Okay.
introductory self defense class. Some women will do best if they're in an all women environment.
Okay.
Um, Maybe looking for some women's classes because it can be intimidating to walk into a gym with a bunch of men. My very first night, my partner was like this 300-pound Samoan, like, and we're doing mount escapes, you know. So, fortunately, it was very empowering. But that's a little different. Like when you come from like, wow, I don't want men to even touch me, like, and now all of a sudden
Yeah.
this huge guy's on top of me. Um, so I didn't really know what jujitsu was when I started, though. So I don't know. Those are my ideas. I'm not sure what everybody else would say.
Promise that you'll go for snacks after.
Okay. 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 So
I'm
tacos,
like, what? For
tacos.
snacks? Sure. All right, let's do it.
Okay. Jody, what you got for me?
If you could get my husband into jiu-jitsu, I'd be happy.
Oh, I got you. What's his excuses? Why does he say he doesn't want to do it?
You know what? Honestly, it's the same as what I hear from a lot of women. Like, it's really close contact with strangers, and that's kind of weird to get into, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of anxiety about touching, or like you're not sure what to do, so you feel kind of stupid. So yeah, I think having like going with someone that you know makes it a lot easier. Going to a women's class definitely helps. And I feel like a lot of times when a woman comes into the gym and there's no other woman to like take them under their wing, they don't stick around.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Where'd you say you were at, Jody?
I train at Mythic. It's in Fullerton.
Fullerton.
California.
Okay, so all right, my mission is to get your husband and join. Start training jiu-jitsu. That's my mission now. I know I'm far away, but I do come down to LA quite a bit. So yeah, we'll make it work. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Marita. I think hopefully, fingers crossed, all technical difficulties are done. And I'm just going to let you ladies just talk and have fun. So I am out. Marisa, the floor is yours. Boom.
Hopefully my audio works.
It's working.
So thank you
It's working.
for staying. And I really appreciate you guys for taking the time to do this. So some of the things we want to talk about is, Jody, you wanted to bring up stuff like, women, the importance of women in jiu-jitsu and where it's going directionally nowadays. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I mean, jiu-jitsu's come a long way for women, like it used to be that women weren't even allowed on the mats at all, which is wild, right? We have in our affiliation one of the Dirty Dozen women, Chris Shaw, which is such a cool resource to have and just hear her stories, like how her and other women would literally stand at the edge of the mat and just watch because they weren't allowed to get on the mat. So if you think about that, and that wasn't that long ago, right? If you think about that to today, we've come a long, long way. But I think that there's still a long way to go. And the change has to come from us, right? No one's going to do it for us. No one's going to invite us to that table. So we're going to have to make our own table and just like take it in the direction that we want it. And I think that the only way to do that is to build communities. So a lot of cross training, a lot of open mats, becoming friends with your competitors, of course, and just really building that community and letting other people know, like, hey, I'm here, because we're all kind of scattered about.
Yeah. As you can see, I mean, we can't even get all of us in the same place for one podcast.
Yeah.
So how do we get more women to compete? That would be a way to build this. One thing that I hear from older women, or women maybe my age, but they've been in this sport longer, it's not that long ago that there weren't even age divisions or belt divisions in women's competition. Right. And we're reaping the fruit of all of their work. But now, how do we take that to the next level?
Yeah, I think this is a big question mark because I can see it from both sides. Like for the female competitors, especially like, let's take Nogi. At some organizations, heavyweight is 155 pounds and up. And so there's no cap on that. And you could literally fight someone 100 pounds heavier. And that's just the way it is. So a lot of women are like, well, I'm not willing to do that. But from the organization's point of view, they're like, well, there's not that many women. And if we break it up, then we're just going to have all these single person brackets. So I don't really know how to fix that dilemma other than just sign up. Like the more of us that sign up, then they're going to see there's a demand for it. Or even like, not me, but somebody could create our own tournament scene, right? and then make matches or divisions that suit everybody.
Kind of like
So
women's
there
cup
is
and
a
stuff.
women's open coming up in Covina, California, that I'm trying to put together a women's team, girls and women. The more people and I'm going to be reaching out to women I know in the area, trying to get them to bring teams as well, because the more girls we can get involved, the more women we can get involved, the more demand there is.
Yeah.
If they can go into a tournament where they feel like, hey, it's all women, this is just going to be fun, we're going to have fun ladies stay out, and they can get that tournament bug, that competing bug, and then maybe they'll want to do another one, is my hope.
Yeah. What is that one called?
It's the Women's Open. I think it's Golden Federation.
Oh, yeah.
They're a newer organization, but I did it a couple years ago. It was very well run. They're doing a great job with it. And again, it's a smaller tournament, but we just need to help it grow because I really like what they're doing. For women who are doing jiu-jitsu for self-defense, I always tell them competing is the best thing you could do because that's the closest you're going to get to feeling that pressure, that fear, that flight or fight or whatever. You can't really get that environment in your gym if you train in a safe environment, which most of us, I think, do. I went to my first tournament, like I said, thought it was going to be amazing, and the person gripped me, and I just froze. Like, I couldn't even remember how to break a grip. And that just showed me, okay, I'm not ready to defend myself if I can't even think to break a grip, So it's a great pressure situation to put yourself in, to test yourself, to build your resilience. So.
Yeah, definitely. And you never know until you step on those mats with that pressure and the crowd and the adrenaline of how you're actually going to respond, because you could have the best plan in the world and you hit that adrenaline dump and it all goes out the window, right? So the more reps you get of that feeling, the more you can take control of it and start to manipulate it within your own body. And I talk a lot about this with my women's class, especially because I'm always trying to get them to compete. And even if they don't want to, just understanding the mentality that goes into it, I think is really helpful. And if you start to notice, okay, when I think about competing, I start feeling this way, like my heart races, my palms are sweaty, whatever it is, then you can take ownership of those feelings and start to use them to your advantage, right? So if I know just thinking about the tournament can induce those feelings, that means I have time to practice controlling them and putting them to use. So if I'm getting ready for a big tournament, a lot of times I'll walk into an open mat thinking, okay, this is my competition. This is how I'm going to feel when I get there. And then I can use breathing techniques or visualization or whatever works, for the individual to start harnessing the power of that. And then you get to practice okay, that's how I feel. And this is how I perform when I feel that way. And you can build on it. And it's just like repping out anything else. You just get more practice.
So it's interesting that you bring it up because I usually have to visualize myself in the bullpen before a tournament, and I have to do the breathing exercises in my bed because it helps me okay, I'm in a safe place, but I'm already hyperventilating thinking about going out on the mats in a tournament. So and I have to do that months ahead. And it's funny that you mentioned that because now I'm wondering, what would be great if, after you go through that adrenaline rush and you have your match and you survive, maybe I need, a comfort blanket afterwards and, a warm hug. And that would entice me to keep
self-care. Yeah, all the self-care for sure.
You're a therapist. What do you tell what would you tell us as competitors? How can we deal with this?
So one of the biggest things is like Jody was saying, you can't work on anything if you're not aware of it, right? So all of those signals, the anxiety, the sweaty hands, the racing thoughts, you won't be able to do anything with it until you actually be there with it. And if it's what else is interesting is that anxiety and excitement come from the same part of the brain. We only define the meaning of it. So everything that you feel like is not so great, you could switch that around. Like, so say you're throwing up in the trash bin, you'd be like, well, I'm just purging all the negative energy that I don't need to have on me when I'm competing. Great job, body. You're doing a great job. And I like the self-care part about it too. I tend to like award myself with trips after competitions.
That's better than me. I reward myself with food and then go on a binge eating
There's always
diet.
food.
Yeah, it's just the
I'm
food is
Filipino. There's
like
always food.
it's these things right here, gummy bears. I'm gonna get them to sponsor me at some point because I spend too much money on them.
Get the sugar-free ones that give you diarrhea, and then you'll stop buying them.
They're disgusting. They don't taste
Maybe.
as good.
Maybe.
So, surprise! I'm back. Sorry. I had a question.
Side note about gummy bears.
Yeah, side note about gummy bears.
Side note about
no,
Side note about gummy bears. If you get the chocolate covered pineapple gummy bears, they're life changing.
Where do I find these? That's the question.
Well, unfortunately, I just came back from Hawaii. They're like, it was hard not to like smash a bag.
Okay. I want to move there. Actually, I'm supposed to be living there right now. Somehow, I got tricked to living up here, so I'm jealous. Yeah.
And if you get them, you can be like, well, the therapist ordered me to eat these.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
You know, now I got to go move to Hawaii because this is part of my life plan to get these chocolate covered pineapple gummy bears.
Exactly. 100%. I was going to ask a question about, because a lot of the things, it's very interesting hearing you talk about your experiences in competition and the feelings you feel, because a lot of them are the same as far as men, but I feel like there's always this underlying aggression of like, I have to go kill this person. Not really, but I feel like a lot of men take that attitude into their competition. And that doesn't seem to be the trend for you ladies. It just seems to be more about like focusing and centering yourself and like I'm going to deal with this stress and I'm going to handle it and I'm going to be okay. Like that's kind of more the vibe I feel like you guys are saying.
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, at least, if I go into a situation with that much aggression and like that much pressure that I have to beat this person, then I'm not going to do very well. You know, it's not the right mindset for me. The more playful I can be, the better it's going to go. And the more calm. So a lot of times before my matches, I'm doing yoga, I'm doing deep breathing. I've been told my yoga warm up is intimidating, which I think is hilarious.
No, it's beautiful. I've seen to you. It's so beautiful. I'm like, dang, I wish I could stretch out like that deep.
Right. But yeah, if I'm coming out there hot-headed, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not going to think clearly. I'm not going to be aware of myself. I'm going to be too focused on the other person, and then it's not going to work out for me.
Yeah. I think this is where like being raised by three women has probably kicked into me, because I feel like I have a lot of the same like thought process that you have as far as when it comes to competition. It's always about being focused and centered and relaxed. It's not about trying to go out there and be aggressive. It's about like, I have to do my best. And if I get caught up in that energy, then I'm going to get trapped into that game. And it's going to be negative for me as well. So I kind of feel that.
But also, I think it's
because
why are you doing it?
Who, me?
Yeah, like why are you doing the tournament? Like, is it because you need to know your why? Like, why are you stepping onto the mat? Because that in itself is a fight. Like, if it's not the opponent and it's not the medal, then it's something else.
Yeah. So my why for me has always been to prove to myself that I'm capable of whatever I set my mind to ultimately. That's always been my why. That's why when it's like when I lose, it's like, because I have this belief in life that you can do whatever you want to do no matter what, as long as you work hard and put your mind to it. But then I also know that I have this talent of like working just enough, but not doing that extra mile. So at competitions, when I try to eliminate that extra mile and go that extra mile and do that, it's like, for me, it's like, I want to prove that, okay, I did everything. I can do anything I want to do. And then, oh, wait, I can't. You know what I mean? It's like, that's my why. It's proving that I can do whatever I can do. Whatever I say I do, type deal.
I'm sorry, Rebecca,
you know,
I cut
as
you off.
women, oh no, that's okay. Maybe because we're a little more emotional, or because we are like friends with so many competitors. Maritza and I have competed. I mean, we were trying to figure out how many times, but maybe as much as 10 times. I mean, I don't even know anymore. But when I go out, I'm not thinking about beating the person. I'm thinking about playing my game and beating their game. Because the reality is, I can't go out there like angry or like, oh, I want to destroy her or whatever. I want to win. Okay, don't get me wrong, and I'm going to do everything I can to win, but I have to make it more clinical, I guess, approach when I'm competing. I want to beat their game. And of course, I want to beat them. But at the end of the day, we're just, you know.
I had to laugh a little because I'm just not there. Like, I'm totally dissociated. And like, and it's like, I enjoy it for sure. But yeah, I definitely am more in it just to go in it. Because I like in my world, that's the one thing I can compete in. Can't compete with a client to who gets better faster. Like, you know.
You're not taking bets on your clients on the side? I know I would be if I was a therapist. I'm like, they're never going to get it.
Like, you didn't get your goal this month. But I love how your both all of your approaches to it. It's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Can I ask you about that? Can I, Belle, can I ask you about disassociating during the tournament? Because that's something I really had to deal with, but how do you deal with it? Like, how do you make it function for you? Because so far disassociating has not worked for me.
It doesn't always work for me either. Like, I don't know. Let me think about that. Like, what I've been doing now, because some of the rules are really hard where I'm at now. I have to be very present. Like, I keep bringing myself back to my body. When I notice that I'm like not there or not present, I do like somatic work. I like, touch the mat, acknowledge that everyone on the mat is here, they're consenting to be here, they're consenting to choke out, and I'm consenting to tap when the time comes, and just like really come back to the present.
I tell you what, the thing that has helped the most is just doing it a lot. We are scared of the unknown. And when you do something all the time, it becomes comfortable. When I go to compete now, I'm not that nervous. Sure, do I get a little nervous? And am I probably going to be nervous in August because I've had such a hiatus because of my injuries? Like, sure. But when you do something all the time, you're not nervous about it. So the more you can do it, like if your body and your health allows you to compete once a month or 6 times a year, whatever, you're just going to be less nervous the more you do it. For sure.
Rebecca, can I ask you about that too? Because I feel like since we've competed against each other so often, I feel like next time I go against someone I don't know, I'm going to freak out. So how did you do this last big tournament?
You mean like when I went to Nogi Worlds? And I competed against all people I'd never competed against. I wasn't, honestly, Vegas, the parking and the driving were so stressful. That was the most stressful part of my trip. I was like, what does this say about the city that it's more stressful than a world championship? I really didn't feel that nervous going in. I didn't do as well as I wanted, but, my losses were just, a ref's decision, losing by 2 points, little tiny things I had to focus on. Hey, I did stuff in those matches that I've never done before, but I didn't really have too much time to be nervous, I think, because I was so stressed out about the driving. But I think sometimes going against people you've gone against before is harder because like we know each other's games. Like we know like what we're good at, and I know like we're both going to go in and we're going to try and get that takedown, and you know, I don't want to get stuck in her half guard or whatever, you know. Like,
Rebecca, Uber next time. I remember one time walking that long, it's a mile to get there, and my back was all sore, and I'm like, I'm ancient, so I'm like one of like the last one I did, I just Ubered, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just right here already, easy.
Yeah, I said never again. I will always from now on just go stay at the Westgate, and I will take an Uber all around town. But I'm not doing this whole like, oh, I'm going to try and save money and drive in on the same day. No, I'll just save the money. This is yeah, incredibly. Oh, that was ridiculous. Oh, the best part. I mean, I have a whole story about how I couldn't like find my car afterwards. So because they shut down the Tesla loop at a certain time, and I came out and it was closed, and I didn't know where it was parked. It was a terrific trip. So
yeah, that would be the worst. We are at about like 40 minutes, just about. So I want to get to the point where we can wrap up. So if there's anything you want to go over, Marita, we can tap into that now. But if not, I did have a question, but I forgot it. But I'm pretty sure I have it here.
Training partners, like women training with men.
Yes. That's what it was. So Marita, did you have anything you want to? Anything else you want to cover?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, as a male practitioner and competitor, it's always my goal. I always say my safety is my responsibility, but it's kind of bullshit because my safety, I feel like everyone's safety is my responsibility. And I mean by everyone, I mean like the people that are around me when I'm rolling, and also my training partner. So my question is just like, how should we as men approach training with females? Because I don't want to hurt you. I want to make sure you're safe. I want to make sure that I can't keep sweat off you. Unfortunately that's something that I can't stop, and I leak like a faucet. But other than that, I want you to have a good training experience. So how can we give you a good training experience?
So as someone who competes in the super heavyweight division, I actually have to have this mindset when I approach partners who are smaller than me. So one of the things that I do is I work on my my weaker game, which is for me the ground game, the back, playing guard. I look for opportunities to let them be on top so that I'm not smashing them. If I am on top, I pull back a little bit, not so much. I don't want to be disrespectful to my partners. They deserve to learn self-defense as much as I do. But if you find yourself in one position for a long time, then you need to move. If they're not escaping your side control, it's time to move on to a new position. Because there's nothing more discouraging than to be, in that one position. There was a white belt guy. He'd get to mount, and he didn't know anything else, so he would just sit there, and I'm like, oh, So I think moving around, I think it's the same. Like if you were to approach like a featherweight white belt male, I mean, are you going to smash him and bring out your A game on him? Probably not. So a little bit the same, in my opinion. What do you other ladies think?
What you got for me?
I think that's true. Like, and it's not necessarily a male female thing. It's more of a size thing, and that applies across the board, right? Something that I run into is that sometimes guys don't want to go as hard with me, and it's not insulting, but I'm like, I can take it, and I want that, and so I have to really be explicit. Like, please go ahead, use your muscles, use your strength, use your pressure, because I compete probably the people way more than you sometimes, you know what I mean? So I need to feel that. And there's not a lot of women that I can practice that with. So I have kind of a different perspective on that. However, when I'm the one that's bigger, just like Rebecca was saying, I play my bottom game. If I do sweep, I'm not smashing them. and really trying to work on my weaknesses rather than just dominate the role, because then nobody's learning anything.
Yeah.
I think in terms of like male female, maybe things like it comes up for everybody, but like hygiene is a thing, or like, you know, if you're doing no gi and you're wearing big shorts and your favorite submission is a triangle, like maybe not. Just think like common sense things, I guess it really applies to everybody across the board. It's
You
not
are
really,
right. That is something I consciously think about. I'm like, oh, there's a nope, that's a female. I'm not gonna. There's no reason to do that if I don't have to. Like, or especially like a mounted triangle. I'm just like, why? No, move on to the next move, Jay.
yeah.
Bill, any suggestions?
I'm more of a thinking about the end of the role, right?
Okay.
It'd be nice to be like, have a good vibe, and say if you do get tapped out, you don't have to give a reason why, like, oh, I didn't go to sleep last night, I was working all day, I just worked out legs. Just, say good job. Give a little dab,
Look, what I'll say, at least I'll say from a male perspective, right? Like, I feel like that's just like a personal thing. I don't think that's male or female. I think that's just like the dude who is just at an ego. Because you know what I hate the most is like when dudes are like, you just like got done giving like a really tough round. And then they're like, oh man, I've been off for like 2 weeks or a month. And I'm like, bro, I've been off for a month too. Get out my face. Like, I'm not telling you that sad story. Like, we in here, you're out of shape. I have an even better shape. Get me next time. Like, let's not play this game. Like, there's no egos here. You know what I mean? And so it's just funny. I think that's a personal thing is more what I'm saying, Bill. I don't think it's necessarily like, oh, it's a woman, if that makes sense.
There are some guys though where the ego plays a big role, and they get kind of like retaliate against you. So the next time that you roll, it's like on.
Yeah.
And that's fine if everyone's aware of the situation. But if I beat you again, come on. Like
It's actually funny. I was rolling with the white belt recently. He's smaller than me, and like kind of like you were saying, I'm going easy, give him chances. But he actually has a really good guard. I'll give him that. But he was a lot stronger than I expected. But he just kept like inverting, and I'm just holding his legs down, putting all my weight like this, and he just kept doing it. And then like I let up a little pressure, and I like closed my eyes because there was sweat dripping on, and I turned away. And he like tried to throw up an arm bar or something, and I put him right back into position. It was like, I don't need to see you to do this. It was like, get the point. Stop trying. Like you've been beat already.
I'm going to bring one up that may not apply to all situations, but like in my situations, people who get pissed off at my husband. So like if my husband taps him out a lot of times and he gets pissed, they won't take it out on my husband because they can't beat him, but they'll take it out on me. So things like that.
Oh, can you please, anytime, please? I will turn up. I will bring out the monster for someone like that, because that grinds my gears, as they say.
And I'm like, damn it! Like, why do you have to be so good? But my husband
time
pisses me
for
off
the
too,
man
so I get it.
enforcer, man.
No, but you're right. Go ahead, Rebecca.
That's when you
I just
roll
said
up
time
a
for the man
newspaper.
enforcer.
Oh, you roll up the
tap
newspaper?
them on the nose and say no. I'm just kidding.
Like they're a bad talk.
Little spray bottle.
Oh man.
Say one other thing, Jay, that you can do with women is, especially if they're a lower belt, is offer to let them start in a position. There was this bigger guy that I trained with, and I always appreciated, he would say, what position do you want to start in? That's just how he always started. And I was like, you know what? I want to start in your close guard, because now I'm going to get a chance to work the top for a while before I inevitably get stuck on the bottom. But that way I didn't spend the entire roll stuck on the bottom. And I thought that was really great that he always asked me. And that's something that I try to remember to do sometimes, even with just newer white belts, is, hey, what position do you want to start in? Because that they might have one that they're more comfortable in, and that gives them an opportunity to work.
Yeah.
their skills.
That's actually I didn't even think about that. That's a really great idea. Yeah, I'm definitely going to start doing that now. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm
I think
excited.
asking them in general, like a lot of times you kind of get passed over, right? And no one's
Hmm.
asking you, especially if you're the only girl and they're like, oh, I don't know, you know, or if there's
Hmm.
happens to be two girls in class, it's almost expected that, okay, they're going to partner together.
Yeah.
And I don't like that expectation. Like, of course, I'm going to be there. I'm going to help them out. I'm going to encourage women no matter what. But a lot of times the women are a lot smaller and it doesn't make sense for me to be their partner.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
just be inclusive.
Yeah, for me, it's not that like it's not necessarily I don't want to ask. It's like I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, right? And
Mhm.
then I get a sense of like, again, maybe it's just in general, this sense of like people who are just more timid, right? And even if it's like a guy who seems like a little bit more timid, like I'm just off in my own corner, I'm minding my own business, I'm not going to ask him to roll. And so I kind of get that same kind of energy. I feel like with women, where it's like, well, you seem like you maybe don't want to roll, so I'm just going to let you be, and I don't want to seem like I'm trying to force you to roll or anything like that.
Mhm.
Because I've been at
Well, maybe if
gyms.
you ask without expectation, though, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
no,
still ask
Right.
them, but be okay with them being like, "No, I don't want to," and then
well,
nobody's,
Right.
it's
oh
nothing.
no, there's never any expectation on my end. I was just more coming from the perspective because I've been at gyms where they kind of like have forced you to roll with people, and then I've heard girls be like, "I don't really like rolling like with this person," stuff like that. So, and we lost Rebecca. What happened? Oh no, we lost her completely. But what I was saying is just like I don't. I've been at gyms where it's like it's been a situation where it's felt like they were put in a situation didn't want to be in. So now because I have like I guess PTSD from that, it's like let me just not even ask a woman to roll. If a woman wants to roll, she'll ask me to roll. If that makes kind of like that, like, you know what I mean? Like give them the opportunity to come first.
Yeah, I think that's true in some cases, but in a lot of cases, the women are not going to ask, right?
Mm, okay.
They're also scared to ask or scared of what the answer will be or whatever it is. But the thing about jiu-jitsu for me, I think it is so much based on relationships. And if you're not in
Right.
there building relationships, like you're not going to get the experience.
Copy. That makes sense. That makes a
I
lot
have
of
a
sense.
I have a couple of teammates in Nogi class that are amazing to roll with, and I think like if you continue rolling with women, they also tell other women like, "Hey, he's a good roll."
Yep.
Okay, copy. What I love rolling like with women is like they're more technical, so it requires me to be more technical, and so I feel like my game elevates a little bit.
For sure.
From a shy
Uh,
person, I don't like asking people to roll because I feel like I'm
mhm.
imposing myself on them. So I would appreciate it if people asked me to roll.
And that's the other thing with me too, Jody, is like I'm kind of low key shy. Like I present like I'm not shy because I'm like what's up, but that's just kind of like me throwing myself in the fire, if that makes sense. Every time it's like,
Yeah.
all right, you're scared, just jump in the pool.
I see this at open mats a lot, especially with women. Like you'll see women kind of sitting off to the side and they're there because they want to
Mhm.
roll, but they're
Yeah.
too scared to ask. So I feel like if someone is, approaching them in a kind and respectful way and just like, hey, do you want to roll? And if they say no, that's fine, move on, no big deal. But having that opportunity presented to them rather than them having to take it, I think will help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dope. We lost Rebecca. I don't know if anyone noticed that. I don't see her calling back
Yeah.
in, and there's no message in the chat. So we do need to wrap up. So I guess we're going to close out the show without her, which I hate to do. But
Doing karaoke?
what about karaoke? Or are we going to karaoke our way out? Is that
A
what you're
sing
saying?
off?
Oh no! I can't. I can't sing. Jesus couldn't help me sing. That's how bad I am. Okay, and
But that's the purpose of it. No one, well, no one has to sing good.
Look, I just told you I was shy. You're trying to give me karaoke? I'm going to hardcore pass on that. But is there anything you ladies want to shout out or talk about before we jump off here?
Open mat? Can I announce Forge has a
go
women's
ahead.
open mat? So July, oh fudge, what date is it? July 12th. We're having a women's open mat at Forge.
Okay. Also, if you can, I believe that you're the one doing the graphics. Send me those graphics so I can post them. So I always have to do like a weird screenshot.
Okay.
But if like you send them to me, I'll make sure they'll get out, and it won't be like only if I catch it. Because me and social media is like posting ghosts, or like I'm bored and I'm just like fast clicking through stories. Oh, I'm like, oh, I know you. Okay, I like that's me. I'm not on there like that.
Okay, will do.
Yeah, Jody. Where you want to shout out your Instagram or anything? Tell people where they can find you. Tap in with your competitive adventures.
Yeah, for sure. So on Instagram, I am Nogi Yogi. And it's funny, that's what I get recognized at open mats, competitions, Target. So follow me there. I post a lot of my workouts, training sessions, classes I'm teaching, whatever, and various open mats and women's events. So you can follow along there.
So don't. And Miss Bell.
So I'm like, all right, Camarillo has a women's open mat every Saturday. Sorry. Women's class, free of charge, every Saturday at 10:30 in Bakersfield. And then an open mat from about 11:30 to 1 o'clock every Saturday.
Dope. So it's just all women, and you said it's free?
Yes, free. Usually a black belt's teaching it too.
Hey, I'm for. I'll take anything that's free. Well, I'm not a woman,
right?
But
you can always come to the open mat.
I'll pass it along, okay?
For sure.
So Marty said there wasn't anything else, right? I didn't cut you off. I just wanted to make sure. Okay,
no.
Perfect.